What's up, dudes? We got a special what if today. It's what if Goku was the reincarnation of the Hanma family. We're going with Yujiro, Yuichiro, Jack Hanma, and Baki Hanma. Allow me to pull up a picture of them real quick. Alright, so this is each character. This is Yuichiro Hanma. Chiro, as in with the CH, not J. He is Yujiro's dad. This is Yujiro. He is, I'd say, the second strongest, maybe? This is the strongest. This is the second strongest. Third strongest? No, not third strongest, not him. This one right here is the third strongest, and this is the fourth strongest. Now, not in that order of their verse, but I mean, out of these four. Now, I'd say this one and this one are basically even, but this guy in the middle between them, he's not. He's just the tallest at almost 8 foot. Actually, I think he winds up being like 8'10". I don't know. And these two are monsters. So are these two, just not as much monsters. Alright, now I know I already made a Black Air Force video for Goku, but these, I'd say four, are basically Black Air Force energy incarnated into people. They are the most disrespectful people in anime. Baki has literally walked up into a prison, waited like 2 weeks for the first and strongest guy to fight each other, called them both wimps in front of each other at once, and he's just got stones of steel, and then beat everyone down in that prison. And we might be thinking normal prison standards? Nah. These dudes were so strong, they can tank bullets like they are nothing. And Yujiro, he's so threatening that the entirety of, the world bows to him. He literally can walk up to the president anytime he wants, and no one's gonna stop him. He turned the president of the United States into his butler. And that's not even one of the most messed up things that they've each done. Yujiro, at the age of 16, went into a war and fought barehanded. No weapon, no shirt even. He literally fought an entire war on his own and won. Jack Hanma, he isn't really that powerful, but one hit from him is enough to basically he's breaking every world record at least twice over. Like they were jokes to him. He can basically pick up a human and just crush them with his hand. He's picked up a literal top-tier boxer and called them a joke and slapped them in the face. And, Yuichiro, they let off over 200 tons of ammunition on one little island on him. And it ain't done nothing to him. He literally just got back. He literally just was still standing there and said that didn't do anything. And then proceeded to kill everyone on a ship that was launching all that stuff. Yeah, that's how dangerous these people are. In fact, Baki himself kidnapped the President of the United States just to mess with him. Literally went 2 buildings down and just said, "Alright, we're here." Literally bare hand picked him up and flew, and basically ran full speed. So I'm giving him the most menacing people ever from birth. Now when he wakes up, like Goku, he's born, he's still called really weak. I put that in quotation marks because that's just Goku from power level of 5. But when he's sent to Earth, you see a little glimpse between the gods. Well, not really the gods of Dragon Ball, the god of reincarnation and the god of slickness. That's going to be me. I say, alright, y'all 4 want to go be him. It will greatly ally y'all each. You'll be learning stuff about each other y'all didn't know and learn more. And Yujiro's like, I just want to see what happens if I went into this world. And I can't go in my real body, so I'm going in his. Jack saying, well, he won't be as big as me, but it makes sense I want to go. Because he's kind of Russian. And, I think he's Russian, I'm not certain. Baki said, sure, why not? And Yuichiro, the grandfather, said, oh, this should be fun. So whenever Goku lands on Earth, he doesn't get the memories of them, but they are all kind of in his head. He can basically mentally communicate with them the way, like, in, like, Dragon Ball, like, what was it called? Dragon Ball, do y'all remember, oh yeah, Dragon Ball, like, Team 4 Star, how Piccolo could talk to both Kami and Nail? Well, he can basically do that to Jack on all of them in his thoughts. Now, he doesn't need to, as he's kind of fusing with them all individually over time. And we start off this anime, there are 5 beings inside Goku. Goku himself, Yujiro, Yuichiro, Baki, and Jack. After about a few years, right before Bulma, about 2 years before Bulma gets there, Goku's 10 at this point, he's built. He's built like Baki was. And if y'all don't know how built Baki was, he was bigger than most grown men at the age of like 15. Actually 13. At 15 he was strong enough to basically pick up people and slam them down. Also, Yujiro took an African elephant, the size of, I'd say, a dinosaur, like a big old dinosaur, and he took it down with his bare hands and then ate it. And it was so big that the African army got completely ran over by it. Like, completely ran over by it. Only one guy survived. And that was because Yujiro jumped in the way and said, I'm taking this thing. Now, we're going back to what Goku's doing. He's training, his normal thing. He's eating a lot, training, I think Jack's like, he really can eat. Makes sense. Yujiro said of course he needs to eat. He has to have at least 400 calories a day. And the reason I'm saying that is because I think each of these guys eat at least like 100 calories a day. Not even kidding. Not like 100,000 calories a day. So yeah, he's got 400,000 calories he needs to consume. And he has giant fish. And he goes hunting in the mountains. He's found bears, giant animals, once even like dinosaurs. And yes, dinosaurs are still around in Dragon Ball, so it makes sense. Even smaller, kind of like wyvern dragon things are around, which Goku doesn't really eat those. One, because he can't fly yet. But he does have a little bit of, like, flight thoughts about trying it, but he can't really. So he just uses Yujiro's ability of, jumping. And he uses all their abilities to basically use his full force. And at this point, he's gotten all their powers together. His power level, I'm not sure what each of their power level are, but I'm going to go with a pretty high one because, being able to just walk through steel and spear people through steel is pretty impressive. So yeah, they get, let's see, even if we gave them only like 100 power level, actually we need to give them each a proper power level. I'm not sure what their power scaling is, so I'm just going to go with 1,000 for each of them. And you might think, that's crazy. The only one who could do that was about Raditz' power level each, right? Yes. And Raditz could catch a bullet. Any of these dudes can go faster than that and catch bullets. So we're actually going to need to give them each 2,000 power level. That means 8,000 to Goku at the age of like 10. So 2 years pass as Goku's even trained up their power. He's unlocked the demon back that all but Jack had. And yeah, he has it. He has the demon back from each of them. And it's defined to like triple the amount each of theirs was because it's all 3 of their demon backs combined. And it basically made him where he's stronger and stronger and stronger. And whenever he like activates demon back, he's got tiers to it. He's got tier 1 demon back, which is just normal demon back. Tier 2, which is tier 1 is Baki, tier 2 is Yujiro, and tier 3 is Yuichiro, the grandfather. And whenever he activates all 3, it's called Gear 4, the fourth. And when he activates the 4th, it's got all their demon backs combined. And I'd say each of these multipliers are at least like 5 times. Maybe, you know what, for small sake, I'm going with 2 times each demon back. So at even 1, he's already going to a power level of 16,000. At 2, he's going to a power level of, let's see, of 32,000. At 3, he's going to 64,000. And at 4, 128,000. And this has no strain on it. He can do this easily. And being that I'm giving him tattoos, I'm just giving them to him because I think they work. And because it just seems right. Anyway, we get back into this. He met Bulma. Bulma, first thing she said was, this dude's jacked and massive. And I will be giving him a little bit of the size of these guys. So he's already like 5. He's already like 5'11". So no, that wouldn't make any sense. At the age of like 12, he looks like Gohan with more muscles and a demon back. So that's basically it. And he walks up to Bulma and catches the bullet and said, "Oh, so this is all you got?" And flicked it back at her like it was nothing and just completely pierced the vehicle. Didn't hit her on purpose. As Yujiro's kind of instincts were kicking in, saying, "Oh, she wants to fight, aight?" But then Baki's our kindness. But at the same time, he's going to be like them, and he's actually going to try to get with more than one woman. Same way Yujiro did. So yeah, let's go with it. Anyway, Bulma actually started developing a small crush on Goku after he basically walked through bullet fire in front of her. And whenever that same dragon kind of thing happens, Goku says, I never ate one of y'all before because I respected y'all. Nah, not anymore. As he used Power Pull Extend and jumped off of it and just one punch that thing. And Bulma was falling and Goku grabbed her, basically carrying her when he hit the floor. When he hit the ground. And he basically set her down and like his power pole was falling and he grabbed it and shrunk it back down to normal size, put it on his back and grabbed the dragon and said, "Well, I mean it's food, let's eat it." And I think this is about the same size as the elephant. Or maybe even probably smaller. So he basically just picks this thing up and starts eating it and eating it. When he's done, he is just completely good. She had some dragon, she thought it tasted really good. So yeah, they basically then went on their journey. Basically, the Pilaf gang are completely destroyed by Goku, because even at like a child, he can catch all these weapons. Like, they send a missile at him, he stops it with a finger and flicks it back to them. When he met each and every one of the Z fighters, when he met Krillin, he basically just said, "Krillin, you're not that guy." And trained up Krillin to where he was kind of like that guy. Krillin was strong enough to keep up with him. And he actually taught him how to unlock Demon Back, which isn't just like something that only the Hanmas can do. It's a technique, but only the Hanmas usually use it. I think Dragon Ball characters could use it though, so yeah. So now that Krillin has the Demon Back, he's like, aight. Same thing for Yamcha. Like, Yamcha and Krillin are now strong enough to throw hands with just about anybody. They have no fear, they have nothing to worry about, they can walk through anything. And basically just joke through the entirety of Dragon Ball. Then Dragon Ball, well, except for Piccolo, he's actually an honest threat because he's been training to kill Goku. And he's half the way there. He's really close to being there at his power level, but not quite there. Like, I'd say he's about 500 below Goku's power level, which is around, like, I'm going to give him an even 10,000 now that he's a grown man. So when he makes it to... Wait. Nah... 20,000 as a grown man, because I think he would more than double his power level from a little kid. So whenever like Raditz got there, he felt he got that 20,000 power level reading. He was like, "Wait, what? This got to be some bull." But in case it's true, he basically told Vegeta and Nappa, saying, "I'll try to calm it down. I'll try to get my brother, but if he's this 20,000 power level, we are out of luck." What do you mean? Well, the strongest is the leader, man. He's stronger than you, Vegeta. Vegeta's saying, "Oh, really? annoyed, saying, "Look, I'm going to get stronger, and I will kill that 20,000 power level brother of yours if he tries it. Okay? Let's go." But in a different thing, he wound up actually kind of starting something with Goku, telling him about what happened, and Goku's just like, "Oh, then tell me this. Do you want to fight?" He didn't give up, so he's like, "Yeah, sure, let's fight." And he made the wrong guy mad. He basically Yujiro'd this dude and saying, "Well, if you're not giving up, then," started beating him to being bloody. Only like Baki pulled him back, pulling the Yujiro in him back. Now, at this point, Goku's basically fused with all their personalities, so he's got a little bit of remorse, but he's still just got that fighting instinct. He will fight a child if the child tries it. So yeah, that's basically how Goku is now. He's a unit. So, we're going into the fight against the Saiyans. Now, they've all been training, and each of them already like twice the power level. They've each got like a 15,000 power level. Even Piccolo does. Like he has a giant power level too. And they can each basically throw hands with Vegeta. But being they are 20,000 power level and easily heard what they thought was the death of Raditz, saying, "If he's really that powerful, we must train." And they basically trained until both of them had a 20,000 power level. Well, Vegeta was actually like 25,000. He thought he was tough for this. And he really thought he could do it. And now everyone in the group has a demon back, so it's not even a big deal to them. So when Vegeta thought it was a good idea, he threw a punch. And when he got to Earth, they were like, "Oh wait, you weren't expecting us to be weak, were you?" And at this point, Raditz has basically trained to be like Goku. He is about, I'd say, 25,000 power level, as Goku's at a 30 at this point. Or you know what, we're just gonna make him still be at like a 20. Because I don't think he'd get any training in just having a 1,000 power level swing at him. So he basically just kept slapping him around the whole time to get him strong enough to throw hands. And even train him in Demon back, which he's only got level 1, like everyone else has only got level 1, but but Raditz, oddly enough, he has the ability, he's like at the edge of level 2. Now, at this point, he's gotten to the point where he's just not caring, and anyone who wants to throw hands will throw hands. When Vegeta went in to throw a punch at Goku, Goku caught that and then reversed it, punching Vegeta in the face. Now, this was all techniques that he was using, but he wasn't going with any demon back power, so he was at the disadvantage. With only 20,000 against 25,000, you'd think Goku would be losing, right? Well, kinda. He's slowly losing, but he's not going to lose. So at the end, he's like, "You know what? You've pushed me to a good bit. So you know what? I'm going to show you some respect." Demon back, as his back just went boom. And he still has his tail, so it's not a big deal to him. And when he threw his back, and when the back was shown, Vegeta was like, "Oh crap." And he just got wailed on. And at this point, Nappa jumps in and tries making it where it's a 2v1. And it's actually pretty much an even fight at this point, even being somewhat in the favor of the Saiyans. Because Goku is slightly behind them. Because their power levels added up to about 45,000. His power level at this point is 40,000. So he says, "Oh, so we're making it a 2v1, Demon back level 2. This basically making them all basically crap their pants, saying, "Wait, what?" And don't say Goku actually has 2 sons at this point. You'd have, well, actually, no, I'm giving him 3 because of, Launch being there, Bulma being there, and Chi-Chi being there. Now, he's still married Chi-Chi, but he had these 2 kids, and Chi-Chi was fine with it because she knew she couldn't stop him. And he was completely cool with that. Like, he was fine with her knowing this. She actually was fine with it. So he has 3 kids. Each one of these are strong enough to throw hands with Piccolo. I'd say they each got a power level around like 10,000 at this point. Now, Goku is looking like he doesn't really care, and he says, you know what? I'll give y'all a little bit more respect. Demon back level 3. As he hit level 3 and was like, what the what? He basically overwhelmed them. His level 3 was enough to scare everyone there. Because even, like, the kids knew that they could only use up to level 2. And Krillin and everyone else knew they were only at level 2 at the edge of level 3. Raditz knew he was still at level 1. They didn't know, like, Goku was going to get that much more powerful. So it simply just doubled him again from, well, 80 to 160, which is, I'd say about, that's almost as much as Vegeta had, like, in canon, whenever he was in Great Ape form. So he's basically up there with Vegeta at this point. And they said, you know what, there's one more. And he takes this 180 power level, or 160, I mean, and says, I double one more time. 320,000. This just basically let him just throw, like, joke slaps and knock everyone out. So, yeah. He's going to proceed to basically whoop them until they're bloody heaps on the ground. And then the last thing Vegeta did was basically just get his pod back and just send a blast into the face of Goku. This didn't do anything, it just blinded him for a second because he couldn't see through the blast. As he basically walked through it, and he said, oh, where'd you go? Oh. As he sees them both take off, and he can fly at this point, everyone can. And he actually got up flying and then was right next to him. He was like maybe 2 feet from each other. From both pods, and he was literally just like, wait, where y'all going, boy? And Vegeta, knowing he couldn't win that, he just said, oh, no, 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 no. As they made it into space and started flying far enough, and they saw Goku just saying, maybe later. As he went back down to the ground, not a big deal to him, whatever. I'm gonna say that maybe, like, while they were attacking, they full force probably might have... I'm gonna say they killed Piccolo, but, like, barely. But when Piccolo died, he said, what's next? And he said, yo, and they went to Namek the same way, but, like, in this version, they didn't really worry much, but they still had a training area for Goku and Raditz. And they said, well, we'd get the most training out of it, so y'all take the kids, okay? And the humans. And the humans still trained with each other, so they power level maybe doubled. Going from the regular power level they had of maybe 15,000 to 30,000. While Goku's easily went from 20,000 to 50,000. And at this point, Raditz, who was at 15,000, it went up to like 40,000. And unlocked level 2 of Demon Back. Now, Goku, when they make it, with a 50,000 power level, he sticks out like a sore thumb with the Scouters. They all say lower your power levels. Goku said, nah, I'm good. But when they felt Vegeta come in and his power level was almost doubled because of that whooping he got, saying, so now he got a 40,000 power level. Hey, yo, bruh, he might be able to throw hands with you now. Hey, don't even talk about it like that. And he basically said, alright, let's go. And they basically walked through, like, saving them. The same thing kind of happened with the kids and the humans kind of saving some Namekians. They saved Dende in this version, it's just like in canon. And they actually could feel how they were outmatched by Frieza with a 530,000 power level, saying it would take Goku to throw hands with this guy, not knowing he had an extra form that could probably crunch Goku like a bug. But they didn't think Goku would get that much training in, so they thought he wouldn't have any power keeping up with him. So they got there the same kind of thing. And whenever like the Ginyu Force were called, their power levels intrigued the Ginyu Force, and they were basically fighting as a good team against the Ginyu Force. And then, out of literally nowhere, one punch appeared. Two punches, actually, taking out Raccoon with joking force, as this is all you see flying at them. And they basically just realize how out of force they are, and they're like, we're gonna die. And he spares Raccoon, but he's like, he won't kill him, but he will beat him to a bloody pulp. Cause he's already to a bloody pulp, so he didn't care. Then when it came to like the fast dude, he basically outsped that dude like a lightning bolt to like a run. It was nothing to the speed was nothing to him, so he literally was joking about speed to him. And the red dude, he just basically just got punched in the nose repetitively until the dude went down. And then when the captain tried stealing bodies, Goku was like, "Aight, well you can't use demon back or any of my other powers, so yo boys, whoop him." And they're like, "Wait, what do you mean whoop him? What do you mean boys whoop him? None of them can keep up with me." Seeing them all enter demon back form, being higher power levels than Goku with no demon back, he's like, "Oh wait, hold up." And he just starts getting beaten to a bloody pulp. They had a handful of senzu beans left because Goku didn't really need them. So whenever he woke up, he realized. So he's like, you know what, body swap. And then he just tries body swapping with each of them individually, but Goku is just in the way, and he stands there and says, what you gonna do now? Having his own body back, they said, kill the dude. And he literally had no remorse, so he went to body swap one more time. And then Goku, with his injured body, threw a frog there, saying, body swap with this. And when he body swapped with the frog, he basically killed the Ginyu body, saying, what you gonna do now? Now that the Ginyu body was basically dead and everything was basically on their nothingness, he barely realized how out of power he was compared to all of these guys. Even if he tried body swapping with one of them, they could just do that same thing they did before again and again and again. So he didn't think he could do anything at this point. And he was right, he couldn't do anything at this point. Now, I'd say that when he's like this, they don't really care. I think maybe Vegeta might crush him, but that's about it. Yeah, Vegeta would probably just crush him. And when Frieza's like, oh, you dealt with my henchmen, okay. And he thinks he can just handle all of these like they are nothing. At best, their strongest is 5 times what the strongest on planet Vegeta was. You're a lot like your father's weak to me. And then you hear Demon back, as their power level went to 100,000. Goku saying, so what was that about being weak? You're still weak to me. You're only a fifth of me, at most. Oh, really? Double again. Boom. Now what? Well, now you're actually a good little warm-up to me. Oh, really? Double again. This being that he had basically healed from the 50,000, I'd say he's at a 60,000 power level, to where he goes from 60, 120, 240, and the final power up, he says, oh wow, I'm really out of luck. Power up. 4th demon back. And going from up to like 380, saying, oh, I'm still too weak for you, aight? And they basically said, oh, wait, okay. And they all powered up to their full force of demon back, and saying, okay. Basically jumping him, and then he catches Krillin by the neck, saying, oh, you like this one? Snapped his neck. His caring for Krillin made him so mad that he actually opened his eyes into Super Saiyan. But not only Super Saiyan, his demon back disappeared. He went into Super Saiyan from a power level of simply, well, a a simple power level from 60,000 into Super Saiyan. 60,000 times 50 is still too weak to fight Frieza. Actually, it is enough to fight Frieza, like, pretty easily in this form. But Frieza goes into his perfect form to do this. He's like, okay, now what? And you hear, Demon back, level 4. They'd never seen him not gauge up from 1 to 4. This was the first time he went from nothing to 4 instantly. And they realized Goku was beyond pissed, as Vegeta was basically crapping his pants seeing this power. So they basically Goku starts beating down Frieza until he's nothing but blood on the ground. He's still alive though, saying, and just kicked him in the mouth. And then Goku basically left. The planet still blew up the same way, and they still kind of had to like get everyone to Earth. But a little bit later, everything got fixed. But then Goku realized how out of match he was in the universe, and he didn't like that. The Yujiro in him said he needed to get stronger. The Yujiro said finally a challenge. Baki saying, I will never be the weakest. Jack saying, I'm not going to hold anything back. I won't be what holds us back. This basically roaring out saying, Vegeta, Raditz, Nappa. They all turn their heads saying, yeah? Come here. They're like, yes sir? And they said, you train with me now. So the year time skip still thing happens, but Goku made it to he still got instant transmission and stuff like that. Basically took him 2 days because he's literally the GOAT. And yeah, when he got to Earth, it was a week before they were gonna get there, and his kids, they are basically now grown enough to throw hands with him. And each of them actually now resemble kind of one of the family members, and they each have an individual name of one. So the one from now gave the name Jack to the one from Launch because it's blonde. He gave the name Baki to the one from Bulma. Well, actually, I think Baki's the one from Bulma, and from Chi-Chi he gave the name Yujiro. And he said, makes sense to me. He has a fourth kid with, Launch, I think. It wouldn't make much sense not to, so I'm giving him Yuichiro. Which, nah, he's just gonna have Yujiro as a kid. And it's not they're actually as the reincarnations of them, but, they've got the name because that's just what pops into his head. Now, Goku is not giving a crap kind of power. Basically RKO'd, and he trained with them in a 3-on-1 full force match until they each unlocked a variant of Demon Back level 3, and they all did. Eventually they reached level 3. Nappa was kind of at the slowest one, but he just needed to be beaten down and do the dirt a little extra. And in the end, Goku is, and they all have Super Saiyan at this point. They literally have been training so hard that they each got Super Saiyan before Frieza even came back to Earth. Frieza does come back to Earth, though, with his father in this version, as well as his brother. And his brother is saying, oh, whatever, it's not like it's a big deal. I'm cooler. Then you've got Frieza, King Cold, and Chilled. And I'm gonna give Chilled, I'm saying Chilled is one of his siblings for some reason, just to make it where it's a 4 versus 4. Because whenever they get there, they're like, what's good? And they actually are all in their perfect forms, even King Cold. Being in his perfect form, he looks as threatening, way more threatening than Frieza. They all look way more threatening than you'd expect, as they're all about as powerful as Frieza was. King Cold they're all about as powerful as Frieza was in perfect form. And you hear Goku saying, you think this scares me? With a power level now in his base form of 2 million, saying, y'all are nothing to me. I wouldn't even need Super Saiyan to kill you. Besides, I think I should just leave this to my kids. Well, not just my kids. You know what? I'll leave it to everyone else. And they said, what? No, we came here for you. And you know what? Bring it. As Goku powered into Super Saiyan and even locking his demon backs, he looked eye to eye with each of them, saying, "Y'all still think you can throw hands with me?" As he proceeded to individually break the neck of Cooler and Chilled. And then you hear, "Oh, really?" And then they kind of sneak attacked him as Trunks from the future just started beating down these dudes to a bloody pulp, saying, "Here, your heart medication. Thanks." He actually took in this version, didn't get the heart thing, so he's good. They're basically now seeing him in a new light. Then when we skip to the androids, that's a complete joke to him. The androids get basically dealt with by one punch from. Actually, I'm not sure who I should make them fight, because I know they did actually attack. Like Yujiro, he still gets back there, but in this version, he unlocks all of them at once. He doesn't feel that only a few of them would be enough. He unlocked 16, 17, 18, 15, 14, and 13, who are the strongest 6 of the androids, saying 20 was destroyed and he was broken now. Still getting his neck snapped and still getting killed by like 17 because 17 didn't want to deal with him. And now at this point they had a group of 6 versus Goku. And Goku, this is the Goku show at this point, so it's not much of a big deal. But I'm gonna still give him like the weakness from like the heart thing. Like he's gonna still be out of commission for a little bit. But Raditz took over in that point and basically vaulted in there, beating down everyone. Tried fighting them. The androids overwhelmed him on his own and sent him flying backwards into blood. As he laid out bloodied, everyone joined in on helping. Even Krillin, well, not Krillin, I don't think he would. He still saw like how hot Android 18 was, and he said 18. Which he didn't really say that, but he said like Hanma was nice to her. And he still got a kiss on the cheek for not throwing hands with them. And basically everyone picked him up. He basically got everyone a senzu bean. Well, he really couldn't. I'm gonna say he didn't have the senzu beans on him in this version. Like he had wasted the last one on I'm gonna say, who should we go with? Yeah, I'm gonna say whenever they attacked and he gave one to Yamcha, that was the last senzu bean they had on them. All the others were kind of at the tower. And he's like, "Oh, great." And he basically piled each of them up on his shoulders. As many as there are. He got them all flying in the air with him on his back. And he flew saying, "These guys are too heavy, dang it." And he flew over to the lookout. And he basically dropped them each off like in a rolling thing where they all rolled onto each other. As bloody and beaten as they were. And he said, "Senzu bean stat." Giving each of them this individual senzu bean. They're like, "We do not talk about this ever." Vegeta with 2 broken arms saying, "Thank you." Even Vegeta's kind of humbled by this because it took one guy to get them all here, and it was a lot of them, and he did it all at once. So yeah, they basically all like realize how outmatched they are by even like one of them threw hands with 2 of us at least. But even like even Goku would struggle fighting these guys. Now they still go out with the whole like no problem kind of big deal thing with them, and they still have to fight. And the whole thing with Cell still happened. He absorbed 17, 18, 16 did nothing. 16 couldn't stop him. 13, 14, and 15 couldn't stop him. So they realized how matched they really were. Because Cell was too fast for them. And he still had... And Piccolo still ended up fusing with Nail the same way he had in canon, and even Kami in a little bit. So that still happens. But then, Goku basically... He's healed. He's back. He's not caring. He one-shotted a dragon level kind of thing. Like, he basically one-shotted 14, kind of lean out. 15 as well. That would be the little purple one and the big pale white one. And he basically knocked both these dudes on the ground. These were both messed up machines now, as when they were broken, Super Android 13 happened, and Goku actually wound up fighting this thing full force. And in the end, Goku barely won that fight with the assist given by his kids. Literally, all three of them assisted and killed this thing. So yeah, they go through this, and the Cell games happen a good bit differently as from in canon. So Goku starts to fight him, and he's still outclassed, but he notices that Cell has the demon back, level 4 on the whole time. But his demon back level 4 isn't enough. But then Gohan, he hastily says Gohan to step in. Now, you might be wondering, when did he have Gohan? Well, same time as in canon, he just had all the other kids, like, earlier, so they were all a little more grown up already, and these were, like, 3 legendary levels. And they each had unlocked Super Saiyan by this point. But none of them had enough powers to throw hands other than Goku. Noting that each of them kind of took after one of Goku's kind of mind thoughts kind of thing, where it was one of the 4 that he had, well, one of the 3. The 4th one was the one he mainly looked at, Yuichiro. The Baki one was, well, the Baki, and Jack, and Yujiro and Yujiro. So it wasn't really a big deal. And then, whenever Gohan fought this thing same way as in canon, Cell didn't make enough Cell Juniors to fight them all. So he basically said, play well, remember to share. And this basically meant that one took on like 3 kids like it was nothing. Because he made like 2 more to deal with the extra people that there weren't in canon, but that still wasn't enough, so he made like an extra 3, which took a little bit out of him, saying, wow, that was a lot. And at this point, there was no one left. Everyone was on their ground. They didn't have anything left. So yeah, at this point, everyone being there at full force was thinking it was like a joke to him. It was a joke to each of them. So, being that this was like a joke to them, Gohan still lost it the same way he had in canon. And I'm going to make Bojack canon in this version. So, whenever the same thing was going to happen, he was going to try to blow up the Earth, Goku grabbed him and said, nah. Instant transmission, wound up going to King Kai's planet. And then the first thing that happened was they said, Yamcha made the wish, because he was basically in the best shape out of everyone there. Because after the beating from the Cell Juniors and the out of Senzu Beans, the only few who could throw hands the only 2 that could throw that were even standing at this point was Gohan and Yamcha. And Krillin, he's still standing, but he's not like at the greatest shape, as he's still kind of taking a beating. Now, they still have the same thing kind of happen, as they still had to try getting everyone to where they needed to be. And they wound up actually getting everyone to the lookout. They got everyone, and they didn't specify where they were killed. Revive everyone killed by Cell. But Bojack was still let out. He was a legendary space pirate. And Goku being back, he said, I'll train with King Kai for a while. Because he still met King Kai the same way, but like not in like the same like order. I'm gonna say that he still ended up having to train with him before, like, because he was ready for like killing shots. So he still had to train with someone with Kaioken, and he learned Kaioken and spirit manipulation the same way. Around the same time, so it's not a big deal, so yeah. Now that he had basically freed Bojack, accidentally, they still have the 1 year later arc, that is basically the fight. And at this point, Goku doesn't see much really use in it, neither does Vegeta, that's why neither of them are in it. But everyone else isn't in it either. No, literally no one else is in there either. But we're gonna change like who ends up making it to the final 4 The final four turn out to be Gohan, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien. Those are the final four that are going to be important. Now, these are three beasts of humans and one Super Saiyan 2 level threat. And the kids, I'm going to say, they wind up losing to, like, the grown-ups. Like, they wound up losing to, like, Yujiro, Jack, and Baki wind up losing to, in the same order, Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien. That's how they win the fights. And now, Gohan actually wound up having to fight his uncle, who was kind of a fight for him. He actually had to go into a full force punch. Actually, no, I think he'd have to fight Future Trunks. I'm going with Future Trunks. Because Future Trunks was in the BoJack movie, so we were making that thing happen, so yeah. He fought Future Trunks. Which Future Trunks actually wound up being there, so I'm going to change it up, so it is Krillin. It is Krillin, Tien, and, well, Future Trunks. No, because Tien wound up actually losing to Trunks for that to happen. Hold up. Let me just remember. Okay, so it is Krillin made it. Tien does not make it. Yamcha does not make it. I'm gonna say Yamcha wound up actually making it instead of that big, like, sumo wrestler dude. And yeah, that's what we're going with. So Yamcha wound up actually making it. And they're not going to really be needed much because, like, they're ready for a fight, but they aren't expecting much from these alien races. Because it's peaceful alien races that they're fighting. But then they have to fight these absolute units. The BoJack people. And, yes, Trunks still beat his, and, well, Gohan had to fight, like, literally the one dude that he could not throw hands with. BoJack himself, when he was in base. Even in Super Saiyan, it wasn't enough, and he wound up even having to go into Super Saiyan 2 to fight him in canon, so yeah. Same kind of fight happens, and they fight for like multiple hours. But they wound up still beating BoJack the same way, with it being Gohan had to go into Super Saiyan 2 and go really mad, so yeah. We're going to proceed to go into the rest of the wait for the other 6 years and for Boo in part 2.